The alarm. That piercing, insistent blare. Why can't I silence it? My hand, usually so quick to slap the snooze button, feels absent. No, not absent. Just unresponsive. My hand function is gone. Not numb, not asleep, but utterly, terrifyingly gone. A void where control should be. My arm, my leg, my entire body a heavy statue, a tomb of flesh. Every command a silent echo in an empty chamber. Just the blare and this growing, icy panic. I can see the ceiling, the familiar cracks, the dust specks dancing. My eyes, at least, are mine. They dart around, frantic, searching for an answer in this room that has become my tomb. This can't be real. Am I dreaming? I tried to speak, to force a sound, anything. A desperate croak that caught in my throat, a silent scream. My jaw is locked, my vocal cords frozen. The effort is immense, a burning strain, but no sound escaped. Only my eyes, my frantic, terrified eyes, can move. Panic. A glacial shard plunged deep into my gut, twisting, tearing at my insides. It isn't just fear, it is a physical tear, a cold, sharp agony that mirrors the stillness of my limbs. This isn't a dream. It is way too vivid, too terrifyingly present. The faint, stale scent of yesterday's coffee, the subtle chill from the AC, the distant hum of city life. All of it is real, so terrifyingly real. My heart began to pound, a frantic drum against my ribs, each beat echoing the growing dread. It is a physical manifestation of terror, like a desperate trapped bird. My mind is racing, tumbling through a nightmare of possibilities. Stroke? Could it be a stroke? But I'm only 26. This isn't how it happens. No pain, no numbness, just this profound, absolute stillness. A rare neurological disorder? Some freak virus, unheard of, unimaginable? My limited medical knowledge, gleaned from late-night WebMD spirals, offers no comfort, only more terrifying questions. Each possibility is a new layer of horror, a descent into an abyss of the unknown. The clock on my nightstand is angled just out of sight. I have no idea what time it is aside from the alarm going off at 8 a.m., my usual wake-up time. I should be getting ready for work, making coffee, checking emails, bracing myself for another soul-crushing day. Instead, I'm here, a prisoner, in my own apartment, in my own bedroom, in my own bed, in my own body. The irony is a cruel, bitter twist. I often wished for a day off, a reason not to face the world, but this is a punishment beyond imagining. I no longer have any sense of what time it is. My thoughts are dark and spiraling and starting to consume me. My phone, so close, but so utterly out of reach. If only I could call. Anyone. But who? My family, thousands of miles away in another country. Asleep, probably. My few friends, mostly work acquaintances. They wouldn't think of checking on me for hours, maybe days. I'm alone, utterly, terrifyingly alone. The realization is settling over me like a heavy and suffocating shroud. No one would miss me. Not for hours. Perhaps not even for days. There is a chilling echo in the silent room. Hours. Or was it an eternity? The concept of time, once a rigid grid, now dissolved into a viscous, formless dread. The alarm is still blaring, and my ears are starting to ring. The incessant beep making my ears ring, and is enough to drive me mad. Maybe someone will hear the alarm. Unlikely, it can't possibly be loud enough. Each second that passes is like a drop of acid, slowly dissolving my sanity, marking not minutes, but the slow, agonizing decay of hope. The sun shifted, painting new patterns on the ceiling. The dust particles on the windowsill, once innocent, now seem to mock my stillness. My bladder. Oh, God, my bladder. The insistent pressure growing into an ache, humiliation. A fresh, hot wave of it. This is it. My glorious, independent life is reduced to this single moment. A helpless, immobile lump, unable to even relieve myself. The thought of lying here, unable to move, slowly succumbing to my own bodily functions, is a fresh new hell. The indignity of it is almost as horrifying as the paralysis itself. Thirst. A dry, scratchy sensation in my throat. I try to swallow. A futile effort. It felt like sandpaper. My tongue thick and rough. My mouth, a parched wasteland. My eyes. They continued their frantic dance, scanning every inch of the room, as if a solution might appear in the wallpaper pattern, a hidden clue, a secret escape code, any explanation. The silence. It pressed in on me, a suffocating blanket, every creak of the floorboards, every distant siren, amplified, mocking my helplessness, my breath, shallow, ragged, my heart, hammering, a frantic bird trapped in a cage, each beat a desperate plea, a futile attempt to break free. What if no one finds me? What if I just lay here, slowly starving, slowly dehydrating, until my body gives out? The image, my decaying corpse, discovered weeks later by a confused landlord, grotesque, vivid, a punch to my already diminishing soul. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing it away, but it clung to the inside of my eyelids, a morbid masterpiece. The phantom stench of decay, filling my nostrils, my inevitable future. The terror isn't just my physical paralysis, it is my mind, the endless, looping thoughts. What is happening? What is going to happen? The rational part of me, trying to grasp for hope, for a way out. Maybe it is temporary. Maybe it will just pass. But the longer I lay here, the more the cold, hard logic solidifies. No one is coming. Not anytime soon. The cruel reality. A heavy weight, pressing down, making it harder to breathe. The changing light, the fading sun, dusk, settling in, casting long, eerie shadows. My cheerful yellow curtains, ominous now, familiar furniture, monstrous silhouettes. My wardrobe, a giant silent guard watching over me. The darkness, usually a comfort, now a shroud, a harbinger of endless night. My mind, trapped in this unresponsive vessel, playing cruel tricks, every faint sound from outside, a distant dog bark, the rumble of a garbage truck, faint laughter of children, agonizing reminders, the world, continuing on, without me. I tried to scream, mentally, to project my thoughts beyond these walls, but they remained trapped, within my skull, a silent, desperate noise. The frustration, a burning inferno, consuming me, from the inside out. Hours, or was it days? Time has lost all meaning. My eyelids, heavy. I know I've fallen asleep, but for how long? I've lost count of how many times I doze in and out of consciousness. I'm terrified of closing my eyes, never opening them again, terrified of the nightmares that would surely plague me. The bladder, a relentless internal siren screaming for release. Not just pressure, but a searing, shameful agony, a constant reminder of my body's betrayal. My throat, raw, a desert. Each attempted swallow, a painful rasp, a desperate, futile attempt to moisten a tongue that feels like parched leather. I could feel the thin film of dust settling on my exposed skin, the unwashed scent of my hair, growing stale against the pillow, my scalp, beginning to itch, an unbearable sensation I couldn't alleviate. A fly, buzzing lazily, near the window, its irritating drone, a stark contrast to the profound silence of my existence. It landed on the ceiling, a tiny black speck, against the off-white paint. I watch it through my eyes that have filled with tears countless times. My eyes, my only part that can move, a singular point of focus, in a world that had suddenly become vast and unreachable. The fly, so insignificant, had more freedom than I did. It can land where it pleased, take flight at will. It could escape. I hate that fly, with a fierce, irrational intensity. Its very existence, its effortless movement, a torment. My family, my mother, her incessant worrying, her calls that I sometimes let go to voicemail. My father, his quiet strength, his unwavering support. My younger sister, a whirlwind of energy and optimism, always dragging me into her latest schemes. Would they know? Would they feel my absence across the miles? Or would I simply disappear, a faint ripple, in the vast ocean of their lives? Eventually forgotten? The thought, a bitter pill, a final crushing blow, the guilt of not having called them recently, of taking their presence for granted, gnawing at me. What if this isn't medical? A terrifying whisper, snaking its way into my thoughts. a cold, insidious suggestion. What if it's something else? Something malevolent? Had I offended some unknown entity? Is this a punishment? For some forgotten transgression? The idea. Absurd. Yet in my heightened state of vulnerability, it took root. A thorny vine, strangling any remaining shred of logic. I'm starting to imagine unseen presences in the corners of my room, figures lurking just beyond the edge of my vision, their forms shifting in the deepening shadows. My eyes dart frantically, trying to catch them, to confirm their existence. But there is nothing, only shadows and the relentless, suffocating silence. My breath hitched in my throat, a silent sob. The hunger, gnawing at my stomach, a hollow churning ache, intensifying with every passing minute. A physical torment, but the psychological one. Far worse, the absolute helplessness, the certainty. I'm dying, slowly, agonizingly, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing, I can do about it. I try to focus on my breathing, to regulate the panicked gasps that keep erupting from my lungs. Inhale, exhale, a simple primal act, yet it feels like a monumental effort. Each breath is a struggle against the suffocating reality. My memories, flashing before my eyes, disconnected snippets. My graduation day, sunlight warm on my face, clutching my diploma, a disastrous first date, ending in hysterical laughter, spilling wine on my white dress. A quiet evening, reading on my balcony, city lights twinkling below, moments of joy, moments of regret, parading through my mind, a cruel montage, reminding me of all I am losing, all I will never experience again, the life I had constructed, the small dreams I cherished, slipping away, like grains of sand, through my paralyzed fingers, the sting of unfulfilled potential, of unspoken words, a sharp, persistent pain. The darkness, deepening outside, streetlights, casting faint, ethereal glows, through my window, my room, a cavern now. Shadows continue to play tricks on my tired, overactive mind. The dust motes, once innocent, now swirling with sinister intent, forming grotesque patterns in the gloom. Every slight creak of the apartment, every settling groan of old pipes, sounding like footsteps, like someone, or something, moving stealthily through the apartment, just beyond the thin barrier of my bedroom door. My rational brain, what little is left, screams. It was just the apartment, just my imagination, but the primal fear, the kind that digs its claws into your gut and twists, whispers otherwise. I am alone, vulnerable, and utterly at the mercy of whatever horrors my mind can conjure. The air, growing heavy, thick with unspoken dread. A faint scratching sound, starting, a rhythmic tap, 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 from the wall behind my bed. My eyes rolled back, fixed on the spot, willing it to stop, willing myself to understand. A mouse? Termites? Or something else? The tapping continues, relentless, a sinister drumbeat, accompanying my descent into madness. A sound that seems to vibrate directly in my bones, a constant reminder of my helplessness. I squeeze my eyes shut again, trying to block out the sound, to block out the terror, but it is useless. It is inside my head now, a part of the suffocating stillness. The last vestiges of hope, crumbling. Even if someone finds me, will it be too late? Will I be too far gone? Too damaged by dehydration? By starvation? By the sheer terror of it all? The thought of being found, only to be a shadow of my former self, a permanent invalid, almost as terrifying as dying alone. The choice, if there was one, equally grim. Dawn, a faint gray smudge, beyond the blinds, a cruel promise of another day. I must have drifted again, into some form of unconsciousness. A shallow, restless state. No memory of sleep, no relief from the torment. My eyes opened, to the same horrifying reality, the ceiling, the dust, the utter, absolute stillness of my body. The bladder pain returns as I try to hold myself this time. Now a searing inferno, a constant, unbearable pressure. My mouth, like cotton, my tongue, swollen and rough, every muscle in my body, screaming in protest. a phantom ache from the paralysis. The sun, rising slowly, painting the room in hues of orange and yellow, a vibrant mockery of my internal despair. The fly from before, gone, replaced by a new, equally irritating buzz near the window. I tracked it with my eyes, my only means of interaction with the world. It landed on the glass, rubbing its tiny legs together, a creature of simple instincts and boundless freedom. I envy it, with a ferocity that surprises me. The hunger, no longer a gnawing ache, a deep, hollow emptiness, resonating through my entire being. My stomach, convulsing occasionally, a dry, painful heave. I imagine the food in my fridge, the fresh fruit, the yogurt, the leftover pasta. Each item, a distant, unattainable luxury, a cruel mirage. My mind, beginning to wander, slipping in and out of coherent thought. I saw faces, in the patterns of the wallpaper, heard whispers, in the hum of the refrigerator. Was I hallucinating? Was this the beginning of the end? My brain shutting down from lack of sustenance, and the sheer psychological strain? The line between reality and delusion, blurred, becoming a terrifying indistinct haze. I remember a documentary about people trapped in extreme situations. They talked about conserving energy, about staying calm. I can't move a muscle, so conserving energy is checked off the list. But my mind is a perpetual motion machine of terror? How can I stay calm when every fiber of my being is screaming in silent agony? The scratching sound. It's back, more insistent now. From behind the wall. Tap, tap, tap. Scrape. Tap, tap, tap. Not just a mouse. I'm sure of it. Too deliberate, too rhythmic. Someone in the apartment next door? Renovations? Or something else? Something trying to get in? My eyes dart back to the wall, then to the door, then to the window. Every potential entry point, a source of dread. A new fear, creeping in, the fear of being discovered, in this state. Not just the indignity, but the sheer horror of it. What would they think? Repulsed? Pity me? The thought of someone seeing me like this, utterly helpless, exposed, a fresh wave of humiliation. I want to disappear, to simply cease to exist, before anyone witnessed my ultimate degradation. The sun, reaching its apex, a blinding white light, through the blinds, the heat in the room, growing, a stifling warmth. The AC must be on the fritz again. The heat is clinging to my skin. Sweat, beading on my forehead, trickling down my temples. The sheets, once cool and comforting, now damp and oppressive. My body, a furnace, slowly cooking in its own misery. I tried to focus on a single point, to anchor myself in reality. The small framed photo, on my nightstand, my sister and me, laughing on a beach, her bright, carefree smile, my own equally wide. It felt like a lifetime ago. I tried to conjure the sound of her laughter, to feel the warmth of the sun on that day, but the memories, tainted by my present horror, they were ghosts, whispering of a life that was slipping away. The afternoon, dragging on, an endless, agonizing stretch of time, my vision, blurring at the edges, the room, swimming in and out of focus, my eyelids, impossibly heavy, a constant battle to keep them open. I know I need to stay awake, to remain vigilant, but my body, betraying me in every conceivable way. I can't miss any potential opportunity for rescue, or any sudden ability to scream, or reach for my phone. A distant sound, a car door slamming, footsteps on the pavement. My heart leaped, a desperate surge of adrenaline. Someone coming home? A neighbor? I strained my ears, listening for the telltale jingle of keys, the creak of the building's main door, but the sounds faded, replaced by the familiar, suffocating silence. Another false alarm, another crushing disappointment. The psychological torment, reaching its peak. My thoughts, no longer coherent narratives, fragmented, terrifying images, my parents' faces, contorted in grief. My own face, gaunt and lifeless. I'm losing my grip, slipping into a dark, chaotic abyss. I'm starting to imagine conversations, arguments with myself, One part of my mind, the rational part, trying to reason, to find solutions. The other, the terrified primal part, screaming in despair, convinced that death was the only escape. The internal dialogue, a jumble of noise, a battle for my sanity. The scratching behind the wall, it stopped. Abruptly, the sudden silence, a deeper, more profound terror than any noise. My eyes dart back to the spot, waiting, dreading. Has it gone away? Or is it just waiting, building up to something worse? My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic, dying beat. I lay here, a forgotten doll, a discarded husk. The last light bled from the sky, taking with it the final embers of my hope. This is it. The slow, silent fade into nothingness. My breath, a whisper of a whisper, barely stirring the dust on my lips. I lay here, utterly still, utterly helpless, as the last light fades from the sky. The room, plunged into near darkness, illuminated only by the faint glow of the city lights, filtering through the blinds. I am a speck in the vast and different universe, a prisoner in my own flesh, waiting for an end that feels both inevitable and impossibly far away. Just as the despair threatens to consume me entirely, when I am contemplating the truly grim realities of my impending death, when I feel the last flicker of hope extinguish itself, a sound cuts through the silence, a sound so unexpected, so jarring, that it jolts me from my delirium. Knock, knock, knock. It is faint at first, then louder, more insistent. My heart lurches, a spasm of hope and fresh terror. Who could it be, and will they even find me? Or will I just lie here, silent and still, as the sound fades, leaving me alone once more in the suffocating darkness? My eyes burn with unshed tears, fixed on the door, willing it to open, willing someone to see me, to know I am here, trapped, dying. The knocking continues, a relentless promise of salvation, or perhaps something far worse. The sound is both a lifeline and a new terrifying question mark in the endless horror of my silent scream.